Good evening, I'm Brad Willis. The struggle to get vital information in and out of China has intensified as the leadership continues its crackdown on dissidents. Tonight in our cover story, we'll look at the broadcasters who are on the front lines of getting the truth to the people in China. That's coming up live on 4.
Live on 4, our first look at the evening news for Tuesday, June 13, 1989. Now here's Suzanne Bates.
Good evening, everyone. In our top story tonight, Seabrook nuclear power plant just moments ago began its first nuclear reaction. It's been 13 years of protests and $6 billion in construction costs leading up to this point. Eyewitness Newsman Dan Ray is live now at Seabrook with the latest. Dan?
Well, Suzanne, exactly 8 minutes ago at 5:23 p.m. here in Seabrook, New Hampshire, we had a nuclear reaction here at the Seabrook nuclear power plant. With me now is a spokesperson for New Hampshire Yankee, Rob Williams. Tell us what happened 8 minutes ago. What does it mean?
Well, throughout today, we've been adjusting the reactor to allow a self-sustaining chain reaction of the uranium in the reactor. And so what happened now is that we achieved that at 5:23. And so we're very excited about it. We've been working a long time for this.
It's been a long time. It's a significant threshold. Do you feel that this puts you in a position where you can assure New England that this reactor will be online by year's end?
This is a major milestone for us. This will prove that the components in the plant work together, that the reactor functions as it's designed to. And now we intend to go through these low-power tests cautiously and conservatively. And when we get done with these tests, the next step is full-power operation, and we expect that in the fall.
Now, all the issues about low-power testing is now moot, but one of the issues which I think remains of some concern to people is the contamination of the reactor, and if a full-power license was not granted, the decommissioning costs. Is this an expensive test you run today?
No, the tests are well worth the expense. Every day's delay here incurs cost to the joint owners' utilities around New England of $50 million per month. And so these tests are well worth it to prove that the plant functions according to its design. And these will set us up for the next stage, which is full power operation.
Rob, congratulations. I know you have to go in and attend a news conference, which we will be covering for Eyewitness News at 6. Of course, opponents of Seabrook pledge that they will continue their battle against a full power license. You still have those federal hearings on the Massachusetts evacuation plans going on in Boston. They'll conclude by the end of the month, and then sometime in September it's expected the NRC will be in a position to issue a full power license, but that also does not take into consideration the potential legal appeals that the Massachusetts Attorney General's office in the state of Massachusetts pledged they will file to stop Seabrook from ever full power here at the Seabrook nuclear power plant. For now, we'll have more on Eyewitness News at 6, but for now, from Seabrook, Dan Ray, back to you, Suzanne.
It is a long, long process. All right, thank you very much, Dan. Local and state officials tonight are investigating the death of an infant whose badly decomposed body was found in a Framingham apartment. That body was discovered this morning by maintenance workers at the Lord Chesterfield apartment complex on Greenview Avenue. The infant, who police believe is 2-year-old Johnny Robinson, had been dead for several weeks. Investigators are seeking a woman named Robin Robinson for questioning. She is about 33 years old and believed to be the mother of the child. The cause of the infant's death has not yet been determined. Boston Mayor Ray Flynn went to Washington today to meet with the president's drug czar, William Bennett, and with Senators Kerry and Kennedy of Massachusetts to talk about Boston's drug problem. Eyewitness News reporter John Doherty tells us the mayor walked away disappointed from that meeting. John is live in Washington now. What happened today?
Suzanne, the mayor came down here looking for help with the war on drugs and some federal help with that war. Senator John Kerry arranged the meeting with Senator Kennedy and William Bennett, the president's chief of drug control policy. Flynn wanted Dorchester, Mattapan, and Roxbury, all three designated high priority areas. Right now, only Washington, D.C. has that designation, but he did not get what he wanted. There was no commitment from Bennett. The meeting broke up after less than a half hour. Flynn left the building without talking, without saying much at all, except that it was not a good meeting. Senator John Kerry is with me now in back of the Capitol. The mayor was livid, it appeared, with William Bennett when he left today. What happened in there?
Well, let the mayor describe how he felt for himself. It was a frank and straightforward meeting. We got a lot of kids in Boston and a lot of communities in Boston that are deeply troubled. And I wanted the mayor to come down here, and I asked for the meeting with Bennett because I wanted him to hear firsthand from Senator Kennedy, from myself, and from Ray Flynn about the needs of our citizens. We've got a criminal justice system that isn't working. We need help at every level. Now, I didn't expect Bill Bennett to make a commitment to give us that help on the spot today.
Did it appear that the mayor expected a commitment?
Well,
Bill?
I can't speak to what the mayor expected in terms of that. I think he hoped for it. He wanted it, and he's right to want it, and he's appropriately hoping for it. But the question is, what are we going to get in the next days? And I think what we did achieve today is an opening of a new dialogue with the drug czar. He's agreed to meet with me again. He put us in touch with the Bureau of Prisons chief. He's given us a staff person to work with immediately. And my hope is, because he agreed to move to a sort of new creative effort, that we're going to try to deal with the problem of Boston immediately and do it in a new way outside of the specific designation.
So there is still some help from the federal government in the days ahead. There is some hope anyway.
We're going to keep fighting for it, and I think Senator Kennedy and I are committed to keep that right on the front burner. Now, the question is, will the administration move rapidly enough? I can't speak for them.
Okay.
But we're going to do our job of pushing it as hard as we can, because Boston needs it, the state needs it, and we got a desperate situation.
Okay. Senator John Kerry, thank you again. Again, Mayor Flynn came to Washington today. He did not go away with what he wanted, but there possibly will be help in the days to come. Suzanne, back to you.
John Doherty, thank you very much. Time now for the weather. I heard Dave Murray say yesterday that we're back in the soup, and I think that describes it perfectly. He's back in the weather office now.
Yes, and we're in the soup back here, too. It looks like overall, Suzanne, it's going to continue the expected big change in our weather right back where it's supposed to be. Gloomy, wet, and cool, that flow off the ocean, and things are not moving much. So like last week, it's here to stay, though tomorrow is going to offer a little bit of a break, but it's nothing to write home about. Let's check in at 5 o'clock. Boston, 58 degrees. Worcester, 53. Block Island, 58. Portsmouth, 54. It's chilly outside. Humidity, 91%. Winds northeast at 15. And the barometer, 29.80. And it's rising. Yesterday, 81 degrees. What a change today. 68 degrees. That was around midnight. The low, 56 degrees. That was about an hour ago. And just like last week, our weather has turned. And just like last week, it's all because of a weather front that is stuck just to our south. And along the front, we find a series of low-pressure systems, each low bringing a round of rain. And we put the clouds into motion, and we are socked in. One little low now going by, then somewhat of a break late tonight and tomorrow. But the wet weather pattern basically holds, and more steady rain will move back in late Wednesday night into Thursday. As for rain right now, not much around. The radar is not very impressive. Mainly mist and drizzle, and that will be the rule overnight. So I think a good shot at the game at Fenway, but it will not be pleasant sitting out in the stands. Here's a look from coast to coast with a Wednesday travel forecast. We've got a lot of weather action from coast to coast. Wet weather over the northeast, sweeping down into the midsection. Potent thunderstorms again over the mid-Mississippi Valley, with a new storm rolling into the Pacific Northwest. It looks mean, lots of clouds, but moisture is rather limited up in the northwest. Here's our forecast tonight. Clouds, fog, a little bit of shower, mist activity, and drizzle. Not a lot of rain, but certainly not a pleasant evening either. Mid-50s. Tomorrow, the clouds are in control. Just a slight risk of a passing shower. Plus, some spots will see a little bit of peekaboo sunshine. Temperatures mainly in the 60s. So a break in the steady rains through tomorrow, but they are back late Wednesday night, Thursday, and Friday. Suzanne?
Sox fans have had a lot of this lately, Dave.
Yeah, it kind of goes with the way they're playing, I guess.
I don't know about that. All right. Thank you. Let's check and see how commuters are faring this Tuesday afternoon with Judy Pepperelli in Traffic Watch 4. Judy?
Oh, Suzanne, once again today they're applying a little bit of patience out there. Rain and road work, quite a combo. On the Linway, Route 1A, for instance, the MDC made a few adjustments today in their construction area. The new lanes are open northbound, and drivers are slowing down as they approach the area. So that's one long, slow stretch tonight. As a matter of fact, I'm sure it's not the only slow stretch, and Rob Tim at Metro Traffic Control has the overview. Rob?
Well, Judy, we also have a long, slow ride northbound on 128 all the way from Lexington up to Woburn. We also have lengthier than usual delays north and southbound on the Southeast Expressway and returning from Logan through the Sumner Tunnel. Rob Tim, Metro Traffic Control. Judy?
Okay, thanks, Rob. And a reminder, expect slowdowns again north and southbound on the Linway while drivers adjust to this new traffic pattern. I'm Judy Paparelli, Traffic Watch 4.
I'm Steve Crowley. Debit cards, they're the wave of the future, and they're already here. I'll show you what they're all about coming up live on 4.
Everywhere I go, people ask me about the Mazda Challenge. I tell them the challenge is to find a better deal than the Mazda 323. It's over $1,200 less than Honda Civic. The no-deductible warranty covers you 14,000 miles longer than Nissans, Toyotas, or Hondas. And right now, you can get up to $600 cash back from Mazda. The Mazda Challenge. Everywhere I go, people are talking about it.
See your local Mazda dealer today and get up to $600 cash back on 323.
Any faucet can turn on water. Cola faucets give it shape. Change the flow. Once you turn on a Cola faucet, you'll never want plain water again. See the bold look of Cola at this Cola showroom.
This Father's Day, give Dad something to really cheer about. A delicious frozen cake from Dairy Queen. It's a special treat for his special day, and it's sure to be a real hit. Nobody makes a frozen birthday cake like Dairy Queen. You can even have one specially made. Dairy Queen frozen birthday cakes. We make birthdays happier.
We'll treat you right.
If you're tired of carpet companies throwing wine, cake, and comedians at carpet, we'd like to remind you that wear-dated carpet is easy to clean up. We just have better things to throw your way. Like we said, it's easy to clean up. For a participating wear-dated carpet dealer near you, call 1-800-322-NEAR.
If your nights are getting way too late, the sag in your mattress may be getting way too deep. You need a beauty rest. Its unique individually wrapped coils are pre-compressed to give you a comfortable mattress that stays forever firm. Sleep on a beauty rest. And here's something you haven't heard in years.
Good night, hon.
For a limited time, get Beauty Rest quality at an affordable price with the Beauty Rest Classic. Beauty Rest by Simmons.
Simmons Beauty Rest mattresses and box springs now on sale at Jordan Marsh. Save 30 to 50%.
In China today, the government announced new arrests in its crackdown on anti-government dissenters. Nearly 820 people are now known to be in custody following the military's bloody assault on the students who occupied Tiananmen Square. The Chinese leadership is trying to project an air of normalcy in Beijing. Streets in the capital have returned to life, but troops are still patrolling, and the area around Tiananmen Square remains an armed camp. Tonight in our cover story, we look at the fight to get information in and out of China despite government censorship. Brad Willis is filling in for the vacationing David Whitman. Brad, welcome.
Well, thank you, Suzanne. It began with massive street protests in China, but now, following the Beijing massacre and military crackdown, student leaders are either dead or in hiding. The battlefront has become the spoken and printed word. In China, whoever controls information can undo the past, rewrite history, turn falsehood into truth. That's exactly what the People's Republic is doing right now, a massive propaganda campaign aimed at convincing its 1 billion citizens that something very different has been happening in China. To hear the government of China tell it, these students never demonstrated for democracy or freedom, and there never was a massacre in Tiananmen Square. It was instead a gang of criminals and thugs. Counter-revolutionaries, the government says, who attacked the Patriotic People's Liberation Army. The hardliners are not only cracking heads now, they are crushing the truth. Nightly broadcasts in China show wanted posters of protest leaders urging viewers to turn them in. Soldiers are shown as either saviors or victims of the counter-revolutionaries. It is old guard propaganda with a high-tech finish. It has now become a war of words, with Voice of America leading the counteroffensive. Since a shooting began in Tiananmen Square, the VOA has been broadcasting radio reports into China about the massacre. Despite efforts by the People's Republic to jam their signals, VOA estimates that up to 400,000 Chinese are listening at any given time.
Well, in a totalitarian country, people who are interested in news in a fairly short period of time realize the government attempts to control thought by controlling the amount and the quality of information that goes out.
Chinese students studying at Boston area universities have established an information center in Newton. also waging a high-tech battle to keep information flowing into and out of the People's Republic. Eyewitness accounts of the military crackdown are tape-recorded, then replayed over the phone to contacts in cities throughout China. The other major weapon is a simple fax machine.
Many people in China, the first time they heard that there was a massacre in Tiananmen Square were from these students faxing information and on the telephone. And the first response of many was, that can't be, not the People's Liberation Army. And so we faxed pictures and showed them, in fact, the massacre took place.
Most of these students fear that they, too, have now been branded counter-revolutionaries and can never return home while the current regime holds power.
We love our country and we want to live free, and so we have to work for our beliefs.
Joining us live now to talk about all of this, two guests. In Washington, Richard Carlson, head of the Voice of America, and in Newton, Gordon Schultz of the Walker Center, now headquarters for the China Information Center. First, Mr. Schultz and Newton, exactly what is the Walker Center and why your involvement with the crisis in China?
The Walker Center is an international ecumenical study and education center for the churches and other grassroots organizations to help understand what's going on in the rest of the world.
Well, how can you tell out there in the rest of the world that anyone is really listening to your message, and if they are, what impact you're having?
Well, we really have, in a sense, two audiences and two sources of information. One is the people of China themselves who know about us, that call us collect to give us information and to find out what's going on. And Chinese students around the world where a gigantic network is being created where they're being kept together through information technology.
Okay, Mr. Schultz, thank you. Let's go down to Washington, D.C. now in the Voice of America and Richard Carlson. Who is listening inside China, Mr. Carlson? How can you tell they're listening?
Well, Brad, we have the largest audience of the world at the moment in China. We estimate that we have 100 million plus listeners to Voice of America Chinese broadcasts every day. Without question, we are the primary source of information for Chinese about events from city to city in China, and number two, for the rest of the world's reaction to what happens in China.
Well, as you know, Mr. Carlson, your critics will argue that the VOA is involved in more than just disseminating the truth, that you're part of the U.S. propaganda machine, broadcasting reports favorable to U.S. foreign policy. Is that the case?
In point of fact, we are governed by a public law, Brad. That law requires that the Voice of America news be uncensored, that it be unbiased, and that it be balanced and fair. I think that I could demonstrate to you that we have built up a credibility around the world, particularly in the People's Republic of China, by pointing to the number of people who turn to the Voice of America every day. As you know, the VOA broadcasts are rebroadcast by students at universities. During the worst of the time at Tiananmen Square, students had set up loudspeakers on corners where they would broadcast the Voice of America. They use the VOA reports for wall posters in that country.
Well, Mr. Carlson, what's your goal now? The students have been suppressed, martial law is in effect. What can you accomplish now with these broadcasts?
Well, we're doing what we did before, and that is bringing unvarnished information in spite of government jamming into the People's Republic, and then allowing people in the democratic mode to make their own judgments about their own lives, being given information. As you know, the government currently in China has launched an intense and massive propaganda campaign, the likes of which haven't been seen in that country for 30 years. It is to totally stymie the information that's come in from the West. They are trying to jam the Voice of America technically by interfering with the broadcast. They're trying to jam it intellectually as well by telling people the opposite of the truth.
Thank you, Mr. Carlson. A final quick question for Gordon Schultz out in Newton. Can you tell us that fax machine has to cost a lot of money? Where are you getting your funds, and are they going to run out?
Well, we're getting low on funds. As a matter of fact, we have probably a $35,000 phone bill, and we would encourage people who want to support this movement of keeping free information flowing to send their contributions to the Freedom for China Fund, care of the Bank of Boston in Boston.
Okay, gentlemen, thank you both very much for being with us. That's our cover story, Sports, with Bob Lubell, coming up right after this break.
I'm Linda Ellerby. In a national test, people said Maxwell House coffee is better than Folgers coffee. They said it tastes rich. Willard Scott's out seeing if other people agree. Willard, what is going on there?
You haven't had fun, Linda, till you take out clogging. And this is Patricia Moeller. Which coffee did you like better?
I prefer Maxwell House. It's got a nice, rich taste.
Fantastic. Let's dance, child.
People keep saying Maxwell House is better. Have you tasted it for yourself?
Diana Ballou before Nutrisystem,
Diana Ballou after Nutrisystem.
I lost 40 pounds in 4 months. I really did accomplish something that was for me. I didn't do it for anybody else. I did it for myself. I've changed a lot. I'm not as shy anymore, certainly not as timid, and I'm not afraid to speak out. It makes you feel like you can do whatever you want to do.
Don't wait. Call now for the Nutrisystem Center nearest you. 1-800-333-SLIM.
The new generation cordless telephones from AT&T are technological wonders. But even more impressive is how they sound. I'm speaking to you on one now. You may find this amazing. We don't. We planned it that way. The new cordless telephones from AT&T. The right choice.
Need freedom from the cord? A new generation AT&T cordless phone will do it. Sears has the AT&T cordless 5310 for just $179.44 every day. And the cordless 5200 is just $129.85 through Saturday. So for real convenience, get to Sears fast.
At Wonderland, the atmosphere is right. From elegant to casual, you can't miss the thrills and excitement of Wonderland's Greyhound Racing.
Wonderland. I've played all over the world, but this place runs with the best. Wonderland. It's a gut reaction. You just fit the dog. It's running its heart out in first place. You jump to your feet and start yelling, go, go, go! Wonderland. A better place to play. Wonderland. A better place to play.
In sports tonight, the aftermath of the Leonard Hearns fight and the latest on the Red Sox. Bob Lobel has more from the newsroom now. Bob?
All right, Suzanne, let's talk about the Red Sox first. Undoubtedly, they'll probably play against the Tigers tonight at Fenway Park with Dobson going for the Boston Red Sox. Wes Gardner's off the disabled list. He'll go back out to the bullpen. Eric Hetzel will be sent back down to Pawtucket. Joe Morgan fined infielder Eddie Romero today. On Sunday, Romero tossed a Gatorade cooler full of the stuff out on the Yankee Stadium turf because he was pinch hit for in the 8th inning. Romero, after the game, demanded to be traded, and today he was fined for that outburst, but Morgan says everything is cool between the two of them. We'll hear from Morgan during Eyewitness News at 6. Meanwhile, everybody is still buzzing about last night's fight in Las Vegas between these two guys, Hearns and Leonard. They battled hard. Hearns knocked Leonard down twice during the fight. Leonard knocked Hearns down in the 5th, and this was a close fight throughout. Leonard came up with a big 12th round that saved the draw. But many at ringside thought that Hearns was robbed and should have won this fight outright. But afterwards, the two fighters had no complaints about the decision.
The judges made their decision, and you know what? We can't argue with them. I'm proud of having a draw because it very well could have, judges could have ruled it to go the other way. So I have to be thankful for what I have.
Do I think I won the fight? I think the fact of the matter was tonight that we both displayed what champions are made of. And like Tommy stated earlier, it was left up to the judges. You know, some saw it his way, some saw it my way. And because we have no control of that, and the fact that in the fashion that the fight was fought, the tires turned, it was justifiable.
More on that at 6. Ben Johnson back on the stand today in the Canadian government hearings on drug use in sports. Johnson admitted he took steroids before he set the world record back in 1987. Johnson also admitted he lied in Seoul when he said he never took steroids. An emotional Johnson told the hearing room that he was ashamed at what he did and would not take steroids again. Johnson, when asked if he could be the fastest man in the world without taking steroids, said, "I know I can be." We'll hear from Ben Johnson tonight at 6. Much more in sports then. Suzanne?
Did you agree with the decision on the fight, Bob?
No, I thought Hearns won it outright, but I think Hearns surprised himself and was just happy to go the distance and come away with what he thought was an equitable draw.
All right. Thank you, Bob.
All right.
Coming up live on 4, Money reporter Steve Crowley on a new way to pay with plastic, the debit card. First, let's take a look at action on Wall Street today. The Dow Jones Industrial Average closed down more than 15 points.
If you wanted to install vinyl replacement windows in your home but felt you couldn't afford them, listen, you'll save a lot of money when you buy direct from the Portland Glass Window Factory. Portland Glass is the only window company in New England that takes vinyl replacement windows from factory to finish. We manufacture our own windows, and you buy direct, no middlemen, and that means you get more window for your money. Call 1-800-628-2828, and for a limited time, get free installation on our best Thermoseal E windows. Portland Glass has a 40-year reputation for quality and craftsmanship. Our trained professionals install these attractive windows in your home, and everyone is backed by our warranty and pledge of satisfaction. These beautiful super insulated windows tilt in for easy cleaning and never need painting. Best of all, you'll be getting a better window for less, direct from our factory. Call 1-800-628-2828 right now during the free installation offer and see how buying direct from the Portland Glass Window Factory can save you money. Call now.
So what's wrong with that?
Hey, some things just keep getting better.
So visit your key Buick dealer today.
Time daily in Gypsy. 8 performances only beginning June 13th at the Wang Center. Call 787-8000 for tickets for Gypsy.
It's a storybook setting in the heart of rural Rhode Island. I'm Uma Pemaraju. Join us as we explore the natural beauty of Little Compton. It's a place where you can picnic by the sea or sample wines from a nearby vineyard. That's on Wednesday's Evening Magazine, 7:30 WBZ TV4.
High tech is changing the way we manage our money, especially when it comes to carrying cash. We've all heard of automatic teller cards for use at banks, but as money reporter Steve Crowley tells us, there's another kind of card on the way.
In the family of credit cards, checks, and ATMs, say hello to the newest member and the one getting the most attention these days. The debit card. Looks like a credit card and works like an ATM card. When we use it, the money is taken out of our bank account instantaneously.
The industry is still small, but growing faster than 50% a year. Gas stations, grocery stores, even video cassette vending machines are letting us pay the debit way. It's really a matter of convenience. We don't need to carry cash around if we carry a debit card.
We all know how easy it is to take $20, $50, $100 out of our bank account using an ATM machine and see how easy it is to spend. With a debit card, we know exactly where our money's going.
Because they will now get a printout every time they make a purchase that will tell them exactly what they did. They'll be able to balance their checking accounts a little easier, and they will have electronic control over everything that's being spent out of their accounts.
Bob's employer is at the forefront of the debit card explosion. Diebold manufactures debit and ATM machines, experimenting with different ways to make managing money more convenient.
And we're only at the tip of the iceberg with ATM and debit devices. Soon we'll be seeing machines that dispense theater and airline tickets, ski lift tickets, even postage stamps, just by sliding a piece of plastic through a debit terminal.
For the 6 million of us who are financially overextended on our credit cards, debit cards are one solution. It's pure discipline. You can't spend more money than you have in the bank account. Steve Crowley, live on 4.
And that's our report. Good to have you with us today. Before we leave you, let's go back to Brad once more. Brad?
One last piece of business, Suzanne. A quick note, anyone who wants to contact the China Information Center in Newton and donate funds can do so by sending checks to the Democracy for China Fund, Bank of Boston, Box 151, Boston, Massachusetts, zip code 02101. That's Live on 4 for now. Evening edition coming up next. Thanks for joining us. Have a good evening.